Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is Monday, January 15th in the NBA. It is MLK Day. We have an action-packed slate of action. My three best bets are on the way. Today's not going to be a highly edited video because I have a flight to catch in about 2 hours, and I'm trying to get this video out, but we got three picks, and one of them is going to be the earliest start today at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So before we dive into that, we got to recap how we did yesterday. Almost a sweep, 2-in-1 day. I'll go back to the normally edited program tomorrow morning, but like I said, it is MLK Day. We got games all day, but 2-in-1 day should have been a sweep, man. So painful. We had Anthony Simons over in points plus assists. That was free. He easily got it done. We also had Malik Monks over in points plus assists. I mean, that's the last time we're ever getting a 20.5 line for him. Our only loss was the one I watched in person. James Harden over 14.5 points. He ended with 14. He had a shot to go over at the end of the game, and he airballed it. Just a terrible game, but for him, he shot 4 for 14. Can't hate the read, but just could not make any shots yesterday. It is what it is. We'll take a 2-in-1 day, move on to today. We get a full slate of action. Like I said, three picks on the way. I don't necessarily know if I will add a play because, like I said, I am on a flight from 6 p.m. I don't land until about 2 p.m. But in my last day in Minneapolis, hopefully we can end it with a bang and we can go 3-0. I wanted to wear that leather jacket again, but we will take it. Let's dive into the first pick, though. A reminder, there are a couple NFL games on. We did go 2-1 yesterday, cashing our Lions same game parlay and one of our props too. We will take that. My NFL picks for Monday is already live. It was posted last night. Go check it out. Three picks for the two games on Monday. Let's hopefully get that 3-0 sweep. But the first pick we're going to start with for the NBA will not be the earliest start. We're going to start with this guy on the thumbnail. Steph Curry over 26.5 points, minus 110 on BetMGM. Now, I rarely have taken Stephen Curry props this season, but I really like him in this great spot against the Grizzlies. Now, obviously, Klay Thompson, you could take his under today because that's a certified winner. He's not scoring more than 15 points today, but I'm not going to do it because Klay, we've had a bad track record with him, but we obviously know Steph Curry got the day off in their last game due to rest, and now he should be back against this Grizzlies team, and who should be returning is Draymond Green. Now, obviously, Draymond Green, love him or hate him, a lot of people don't love him, but we know Draymond Green, what he does great at, he does shoot the ball. So we are asking, that's another guy out there on the court that is not looking really to be aggressive with the shot. He's mostly trying to get his teammates the ball, which is kind of what we want to see. And it takes a lot of playmaking off of Steph Curry. Now, I did look at his over 31.5 points plus assists. And if this line does bump up to 27.5, definitely take a peek at that. I'd much prefer that than a 27.5 line. But I really do think Curry can easily go out there and get 27 points. Now, you look at his last few games and be like, ooh, that's not a great spot. But he's really dominated this matchup against the Grizzlies. His last 8 games against them in the regular season, 32.8 points per game, scoring 27 or more in 7 of 8. Now, you look at Curry recently, he's had the volume. I mean, we talked about last game against the Bulls, 27 points, 24 field goal attempts, so it did go over, but before that, it was under in 3 straight. He's just had 4 straight games below 40% from the field. We know if Curry goes out there and has, one of those games where, like, oh, that's the greatest shooter ever to live, where he shoots, pretty well from the 3-point line, probably soars over this line, easily scores 30 points, but this is kind of a buy low spot for Steph Curry. And sure, the Grizzlies got basically everyone banged up. I think that they're, hopefully Jaren plays because Jaren obviously would give the Grizzlies a better shot at keeping this game close, but he also obviously dominates the paint and you don't get a lot of points in the paint there. So guys that maybe drive in, maybe kick it out to Steph Curry, I think he gets a lot of open looks. I just don't think anyone on the Grizzlies has a chance at guarding him. Obviously Dylan Brooks, their best defender, went off to Houston. And so I don't think they have a really good perimeter guy. So I think Steph will get the looks, and I think Draymond and them will find ways to get in those open looks. I really like Steph Curry today. I haven't really bet on him a ton this year because really hasn't been a good year for the Warriors. They got to turn it around sometime, and I think this is a good spot to back Steph Curry over 26.5 points. Now, my second pick is going to actually be an under. There are a couple picks I considered in this game. It's the Raptors and Celtics. I'm like taking Jaylen Brown under 25.5 points, minus 120 on PointsBet. I really wanted to take Emmanuel Quickley's PRA line as the Celtics and Raptors are taking on each other. Not going to force 2 picks in the one game, but Quickly coming off a bad game, had a really good track record with him. It's just not the best matchup for him because it could be defended probably by Drew Holiday or Derek White, but I do like Quickly today. But on the other side, Celtics, why am I taking Jaylen Brown under? No one likes unders, but I really think this line's a little bit too high. Now, I obviously love Jaylen Brown. We've made a lot of money with him this season, typically on his overs, but typically his overs are in the 22, 23.5 points range. 25.5, a little bit too high given that the Celtics are fully healthy. I mean, we're talking about Jason Tatum out there, Kristaps out there, and Derek White and Drew Holiday are out there as well. So all these guys are active. I just think this line's a little bit too high for Jaylen Brown. I mean, heck, earlier on in the season, just a few weeks ago, this line was sitting around 21.5, 22.5. Granted, Jaylen Brown's played pretty well recently, but a lot of it's due to very high shooting percentages, which obviously aren't sustainable. I mean, this year he is under in 21 of 34 games with Jason Tatum active. That doesn't include any other guys. Everyone else could be out. Derek White, Drew Holiday, Chris Knapps, some of those guys could have missed. He's still under in a good majority of these games, but he hasn't also played really well against Toronto. Now, if you look at his game log, you just go into StatMuse and type in Jaylen Brown game log versus Toronto, you'd see, hey, he has some pretty good games. Pretty much all of those high volume, and a lot of them were without Jason Tatum, who is scheduled to play today. Obviously, I can't guarantee he plays, but you look at his last 6 games versus Toronto with Tatum playing 21, 9, 16, 22, 29, and 23 points, going under in 5 of 6. So obviously, the Raptors, when they had OG Anunoby, he was always the guy that was going to go out there and guard Jason Tatum. So Jason Tatum really didn't have a great matchup. But now that Jason Tatum and they don't have OG Anunoby, Jason Tatum, I think, can do whatever he wants. I think he has a pretty good matchup there. I just don't think Brown is the guy that's going to score 26 points. Yeah, obviously good. Sure. We know Jaylen Brown, he's really talented. He can score 26. However, you look at his last 5 games, 4 of them have shot above 55%, 3 of them above 65%. I think he shot like 70 something percent in their last game. Look, that is not sustainable. We know Jaylen Brown, just like any NBA player, is capable of a 4 for 16 type night. And if that happens, he's probably going to defer to his other teammates. And so I don't love his matchup. I don't necessarily know who guards him. Maybe it's, I don't know if Scotty Barnes or Pascal Siakam or who exactly guards Jaylen Brown, but I think they can at least do a decent job. I would imagine. I honestly don't know who they're going to defend it with, but I don't think it really matters a ton here. Probably RJ Barrett is probably the guy that guards Jaylen Brown if I had to guess, but I really do think Jaylen Brown, that line's a little bit too high. Now, my third and final play of the day will be actually the earliest one. Going to the Sixers and not Raptors. This guy used to play for the Raptors. Sixers and Rockets game. Taking Fred VanVleet over 17.5 points. My third and final play of the day. Now, obviously, flashback just a few days ago. VanVleet's under was one of our picks. Ended with 5 points. The line did not budge on VanVleet. They saw the 5-point game and said, all right, here's a 17.5-point line once again. And I really like this matchup for him. And I put Toronto here. He's obviously on the Houston Rockets. I'm just used to typing in Toronto, but I really do think he's in for a good spot here against the Sixers. Now, Sixers have some injury news. Joel Embiid, the process, the MVP, will he play today? I think he does, but obviously if he doesn't, it is what it is. I don't think it really affects this analysis too much. Not like Fred VanVleet's being defended by Joel Embiid, and if Joel Embiid doesn't play, this game's probably at least pretty competitive. But I still do think the Sixers can keep this one close, and I think the Rockets can keep it close on the road too, especially coming off a game they just got smoked. They lost by 25 to the Celtics. I think they keep this one close, and VanVleet's going to have to be pretty aggressive, especially up against his former head coach Nick Nurse. Now, obviously, last game, like I said, only 5 points, but I think he bounces back here. We've seen him do well, and in the first matchup between these two teams, VanVleet went off 33 points, shot the ball really well. Jalen Green had 31 in that game. Şengün had 28. And what it comes down to is really, I don't think the Rockets, I keep saying Raptors because VanVleet, when we just talked about him, and VanVleet used to play for him, but I just don't think they have the scoring to keep up with the Sixers unless VanVleet's playing pretty well and playing aggressive. Jalen Green notoriously doesn't show up on the road. Şengün, if Joel Embiid does play, he'll have his hands full trying to defend him defensively. I think we're going to see VanVleet have to be pretty aggressive. And prior to that 5-point stinker, he was over in 3 straight with 32, 20, and 20 points. Played 39 or more minutes in all those games. He plays a lot of minutes, and he's attempted 15 shots in 3 straight prior to that game. Obviously, Dillon Brooks is back, but I'm not too worried about it. VanVleet's played really well in Philly. His last 3 games versus them, 32, 9, and 19 field goal attempts, but he shot 22, 15, and 17 times. We continue to see him playing pretty aggressive and shooting 15 times. I'll take it with VanVleet. He's the guy that pretty much shoots a lot of threes, can get to the free throw line too, but with DeAnthony Melton out, they don't have their best perimeter defender out there. And if Joel Embiid does play, we know he plays a lot of drop coverage. And when you play drop coverage, guys like VanVleet coming off screens and get some wide open looks, even if it's in the mid-range or the 3-point line. I really think he's in for a good game. I know it's a bounce back spot for VanVleet. I think this is a good spot to back him. So we'll take his over 17.5 points. Those are my 3 favorite picks of the day. There was a lot of NBA action from like 12 p.m. almost all the way till the evening. If I do add a play, it'll be in the pinned comment, but very unlikely I do. We're just going to rock with these 3 plays. Steph Curry's over in 26.5 points. Jaylen Brown under 25.5 points. And then we're taking Fred VanVleet of the Rockets, not the Raptors like I have on the screen, over 17.5 points. I really like those 3 picks. We're going to keep it simple. Try to go 3-0, or at least at worst, go 2-1, make a little bit of money with you guys. Let me know your favorite picks down below. Sorry for the non-edited video. Trying to get this out before we leave and get on our flight to head from Minneapolis back home. But appreciate you guys as always. Let's have a wonderful day. Let's go 3-0. Happy MLK Day. If you want to check out those NFL picks for Monday's 2-game slate, definitely check it out. It is linked on the screen. You guys have a great Monday. Have a great MLK Day, and I will see you guys back again in the next one. Peace.